Good morning, I'm Steve Gustitis and this is Walkabout. If you use trekking poles, I'll teach you in this video how to use the wrist straps on those trekking poles to maximize your power, your leverage, your comfort, and your safety while out on the trail. All that's coming up right after this. There's only one way to properly grip your trekking pole handle using the wrist straps to maximize your power, your leverage, your comfort, and your safety. And this is how you do it. First, take your hand and slip it in through the wrist strap from the bottom, like this. Bring your hand across, getting the wrist strap to rest in that valley between your thumb and your forefinger. Press down a bit, slightly grip the handle, and you're ready to go. To talk about why that method of gripping the trekking pole is best, let's talk about the two alternate ways of gripping the pole. There are advantages and disadvantages, so you can see why that method that I demonstrated for you is the best way to go. So, you can use the trekking pole without using the wrist strap at all. Just take your hand, wrap it around the trekking pole handle, and you're good to go. Now, gripping the trekking pole using your hand on the handle without the strap, remember that all of the power and strength that you develop through your shoulder and through your arms is then transferred to the trekking pole through the bones and the muscles of your hand alone. You can imagine that over a long day out on the trail, that tightly gripping that pole is going to cause you quite a bit of fatigue. One advantage to holding the trekking pole in this way is that if you were to drop the pole, if you were to fall, that pole would leave your hand in this fashion. Your fingers, the bones in your hand and whatnot would not be in any danger of injury, since the pole would just fall harmlessly to the ground. Another advantage of using the trekking pole without the wrist strap is that you have the crown of the trekking pole handle easily accessible to you. Some people like to use the pole in this fashion for different purposes out on the trail, and without the strap encumbering the movement of your hand, again, you can get easy access to the crown in order to use it this way. The second method of gripping the handle on your trekking pole, this time using the wrist strap, is to take your hand and come in from the top of the strap. Swing your hand around and grip the pole in this fashion. Now, the problem with using this method is, again, all of the strength and the power that's generated through your shoulder and through your arms is distributed to the trekking pole itself through the bones and the muscles in your hand. Consequently, we have the same fatigue problem that we had and we looked at in the first way of holding the pole. Now, the other disadvantage of using the trekking pole in this fashion is that you don't have easy access to the crown. You can see that the wrist strap is going to limit the way that your hand can move around the handle, and so you won't have easy access to the crown. Now, from a safety point of view, if you were to fall with the pole, you can see that the pole is now trapped in that valley between your forefinger and your thumb. Since the pole cannot freely disengage from your hand, you're going to risk injury to your thumb, forefinger, or maybe other parts of your hand as you fall to the ground, because that pole has nowhere to go, and again is trapped in that valley between thumb and forefinger. Now, using the best method for gripping the trekking pole handle using the strap is to take your hand but come up from the bottom this time. Like we talked about before, you swing your hand around, all right? You press down slightly and allow that strap to rest in the valley between your thumb and forefinger, and then lightly hold the handle of the pole. Now the big advantage of holding the trekking pole handle in this fashion is that the strength and the power that's generated through your shoulder and your arm muscles is then distributed to the trekking pole through the strap and not necessarily through the bones and muscles of your hand. And as a consequence, the fatigue problems that we talked about that occur using the other two methods aren't really a problem. And so as you're using the trekking pole, you can see, okay, you almost don't even have to grip this trekking pole at all with your hand. You can use that power, you can press down, you can use that trekking pole for balance and leverage using just the strap itself. Now most people, of course, and I do too, I swing my hands around and I lightly grip the pole to make sure I have a better control of it. So that's the first advantage. The second advantage of holding the trekking pole in this way is now you have unfettered access to the crown of the pole. So if you feel like you need to use the crown for support or balance, again, you have unfettered access to the crown, and when you're done, you just slip your hand back down, rest that strap in the valley between your thumb and forefinger, and you're good to go. From a safety standpoint, if you were to fall with the pole in hand, you can see that the pole is now no longer trapped in that valley between your forefinger and your thumb. Since the pole can easily escape that valley, your thumb and forefinger are much less susceptible to injury caused by the trekking pole. Now when using the bottom-up grip method, you want to make sure that the strap on your trekking pole handle is adjusted correctly for your size of hand. So when the trekking pole wrist strap is properly adjusted, you'll have a good seat here for the strap of your trekking pole to rest in that valley between your thumb and forefinger. If your strap is too long, then you'll see that you won't get that proper seating between your thumb and forefinger of the trekking pole wrist strap. Also, you'll find that if the strap is too long, you're not going to be able to get a proper grip on the handle, and you'll have to move your hand up there, and then you're losing all the benefit of coming from the bottom up to grab the trekking pole handle. Lastly, if the strap is too short, then you're not going to be able to get the strap to seat in that valley between thumb and forefinger, and you won't be able to benefit at all from the leverage and the power that you can achieve when that strap is properly adjusted. So too short is not good, too long is not good, but just right. Let's see if I get that for you. For me, that's just right. Down in the comment section, describe for me your favorite way of gripping your trekking poles, especially if it's different from the way that I'm suggesting in the video. If you do comment, please tell me what you think the advantages are, the disadvantages, and why you like gripping the trekking pole in that way. I appreciate you watching today's video, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time here at Walkabout.